Daily Intermission team. Daily Intermission. The DI Army is what we like to call it. Welcome back. It's episode 51 of season 2 of the Daily Intermission podcast. It is July 4th, long weekend for all the American listeners. It is Canada Day weekend. For all of the Canadian listeners, it's been a big weekend in North America. I'm joined in studio as always by Nathan Brown. How we doing, my man?
We're doing good. It's crazy these two weekends fall at the same time, you know?
Absolutely.
It's crazy. It's, I guess not crazy. It just seems kind of stupid, really, if you think about it. But, man, 4th of July.
Yeah, one half of the...
so sick.
One half of the two parties celebrating this weekend is well aware that there's two going on, and one party of the two celebrating is not well aware that there's another celebration, because I'm almost certain that 90% of Americans have no idea when Canada Day is, and I'm almost certain that 90% of Canadians all know that July 4th weekend is transpiring. So there's a little bit of a split. Like, we're aware, but they're not.
Yeah, 100%. It's weird how much, like, obviously we have, like, all their media and stuff, so it's, like, so much easier to see their stuff, but it's crazy how little they know about Canada in the U.S. It's actually wild.
Oh, it is for sure.
So close, and it's just, like even just to name the provinces, I think there's no shot.
No.
For most people.
No.
Which is just crazy.
I wonder how many they could get. You think, on average, the average American could name how many provinces and territories out of the 13?
How many? The average?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 3.
Yeah.
They're going to get Ontario for sure.
British Columbia,
they might not even know Ontario, though. They might
That's
just call it Toronto.
Yeah. I was thinking British Columbia.
British Columbia, yeah.
Alberta,
probably, yeah. Those might be the 3.
There's no chance they're getting an Atlantic province.
Unless they're, like, from Maine.
Yeah.
Or some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it changes, like, going down. Like, I feel like people in Maine, they're going to get, like, Ontario and, like, maybe, like, Nova Scotia.
They'll be the leaders of the pack, I'd
Yeah,
say, is
I
the
would
people of
think so,
Maine.
too.
And the greater
people in Maine.
New England area. But no, it was a great celebration, man. There's fireworks, there's barbecues, there's people, having a great time. It's a great day to celebrate the great countries of Canada and the United States, and obviously, to celebrate the freedoms and the luxuries of living in these two countries. But it's been a great weekend. Nate, in other news, just staying in the pregame show, I will mention that it's UFC, golf, and tennis talk to start things off. It's been a big weekend in each of those. We're going to move into the NHL in quarter 2, NBA in quarter 3, and a little MLB chatter to close it out in quarter 4. The halftime show this week will be Guess the Nationality. So we'll give athletes back and forth and try to guess the nationality. It's quite challenging.
Yeah. No, it is very tough. I've got some bad ones for you.
Yeah.
They're going to be tough.
It's going to be a bloodbath out there.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
Staying in the pregame show, it's Lindsay Lohan. And I haven't heard this name in a long time. I'm not really sure what happened to Lindsay Lohan. I remember Mean Girls and I remember Freaky Friday. I mean, as we were, she was pretty much a mega star through our tweens.
Mean Girls is one of the greatest films of all time. That is one of the funniest movies ever.
It's a good flick for sure.
So funny.
Yep.
But yeah, I haven't heard about her in a while.
A decade, maybe?
I don't pay a whole lot of attention to celebrity news. It's basically just whatever pops up for
sure.
me. Like, I don't go hunting, so it's hard to.
She went through some drama, as they all do, as these people, gain this massive fandom and fame at such a young age. She went through some rough years, but she's getting married, so congratulations to Lindsay Lohan, and we'll reflect on how great of a movie Mean Girls was and Freaky Friday, and I'm trying to think of other flicks that she was in. I'm pretty sure she made some appearances on the Family Channel. I don't know why I'm thinking that.
Yeah.
Parent Trap, was she in?
Perhaps.
Maybe. I don't know.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay. I'm not sure if she was, but I know that she was definitely a Disney star.
She was big time back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. Her and, like, Britney Spears.
Yep, for sure. And she's another one that's kind of a little off the rails right now. I'm not really sure what's totally going on with Britney, but
no, either.
Happy for Lindsay Lohan. Just some sad news out of the NFL. We got 26-year-old linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens, Jalen Ferguson. He tragically passed last week. It was a fentanyl cocaine overdose. Sad, man. It's a bad issue and problem right now in the party scene, and the NFL loses a young star.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I just don't understand the whole, like, fentanyl thing. Like, why are and I feel like it's not going anywhere either.
No.
So it's a shame.
Yeah, it's just that small trace of it,
it's crazy.
We saw it with Jimmy Hayes earlier this season. It's a pandemic going on, and hopefully there was some people in society that kind of start to crack down on this and figure out the roots, because if you look up the numbers of this pandemic, it is certainly alarming. But that's enough sad news for the pregame show. That'll conclude the pregame show, and we're going to move into quarter one, and it is UFC 267, which was everything they wanted it to be over there in Vegas. We got a little bit of golf talk. We got the Live Tour and PGA Tour. I don't want to give the Live Tour, the time of day on the Daily Intermission podcast, but they're just producing so much headlines that I have to. And Tennis Nate will finish off in Wimbledon, just kind of giving a few updates. Starting things off, who won the belts last night? There was two on the line. It was the featherweight belt and the middleweight belt. Israel Adesanya takes care of business with a unanimous decision win, retains the middleweight belt, and Andrew Volkanovski? Volkanovski, yeah. I think it's Andrew.
Volkanovski.
Yeah, Volkanovski. He retains the featherweight belt. Apparently, over Max Holloway, broke his hand in the first round. That guy's an absolute machine. Sean O'Malley, another guy I really like to watch. The Nelk boys are close with him. He's just an absolute lunatic.
The eye poke?
Yeah, no contest for Sean O'Malley. So that's tough. But I think what stole the night was two UFC legends, Jessica Ai and Donald Cowboy Cerrone, both laying the gloves down in the octagon, both retiring. People will famously know Cowboy from fighting Conor McGregor, I think 4 years back. And Jessica Ai, she's been a ranked fighter in the UFC her entire career, which is, we're looking at potentially two Hall of Famers in the UFC, and it was a great night overall, man. It's tough to watch, tough to stay up and watch those fights, but I think they got their action.
What was it? The Adesanya fight? It was like 1:30, still not on.
Yeah,
ridiculous for our time anyway. Interesting stat about him: like five of his last 7 fights have just gone the distance.
Wow.
Which is just sweet. I mean, you're not going to get any betting odds off of that anyway. The books have clearly already figured that out.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, that's nice to know. When he's up for in a fight, you're most likely getting to watch the full thing.
Yeah.
Which is good to see. Also, what was it? O'Malley. Who's he fighting? Was it Munoz? Munoz, yeah. He was getting a lot of flack. A lot of people were saying he didn't want to go back in after he got the eye poke.
Yeah.
They were like,
yeah,
he's done.
For
he
sure.
Didn't want it. Didn't want the smoke.
Yeah.
But I mean, an eye poke hurts.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to, see clearly out of your eye. No, for sure. And yeah, Sean O'Malley in his post-game press conference, he pretty much came out and said that he was looking for a way out. And we'll see. I think they run that back. I would think they run that back. But Sean O'Malley's 16-0 in his professional career in fighting, so he's certainly a fun one to watch. But UFC 267 obviously didn't disappoint there for Joe Rogan and Dana White. Those boys put on a bit of a clinic. Nate, moving into the PGA Tour, staying in quarter one. It's the John Deere Classic, and I will tip my cap to you for picking JT Poston because he's looking to go wire to wire. He's 19 under right now through 3 days.
Yeah.
Obviously had a fantastic week last week. He's been trending in the right direction, wearing his Vineyard Vines in the green. So it'd be nice to see if JT Poston can go wire to wire and win the John Deere Classic.
Yeah, it'd be. How many bets will we have won then for this year? It's got to be up 5 or 6 now. No.
Yeah, I haven't tallied it up. I would think even a little bit more than that.
I know we got Cam Smith. You got Shoffley last week.
Yep, and Scheffler I had at the Waste Management.
Right.
Gosh, there's a couple more.
Yeah, I know I had another one. I just can't remember what it was.
But
boys are hot.
Yeah, we don't mind giving out best bets on the golf. That's why we do it every week. We're fairly confident in our education in golf, and that's why you have to sprinkle those odds. So Sahith Theegala, both of our one and done pick this week. Started off round 1 +3, very worrisome. Comes out Friday, shoots -6. Comes out Saturday, shoots -6. Right back in the hunt.
Yeah.
Congrats to Sahith for saving the boys in the one and done because we're coming off a week where we've both forgot to submit picks.
Yes.
So Heath looks good, and my guy Adam Svensson, who I gave out on Live in the Line to come top 10, he's one position outside of the top 10 right
Nice.
now. So hopefully he can have a good Sunday and pay the folks from Live on the Line.
For sure. Even for my Sahith pick now, I'm like, obviously he's not going to make up 10 strokes here on the final day, but it's like, let's just get up a little bit, get a little more money in the one and done account there.
That's right. That's right.
That's the move now.
Yeah, and
wish I would have gone Poston. Obviously, easy to say now.
Yeah, for sure. But JT would have been a nice little pick there for sure. So it's the Scottish Open next week on the DP World Tour. A lot of the PGA pros and a lot of the big names will be playing on that, excluded all the live players. And then it's the British Open, the Open at St. Andrews, which Tiger Woods will be back. All the live guys will be back. And it's going to be a huge major championship. It's going to be super exciting. The last one of the year, which is crazy to say. It's really flown by.
Yeah.
But looking forward to that in 2 weeks. But it was interesting. I wanted to talk about Fred Couples this week, Nate. Obviously a legend of the game. He came out and said he knows how much of a clown act, how much of a circus act these guys know it is over on the Live Tour. He said he'll probably never talk to Phil Mickelson again.
Wow.
So this is one of the legends, a very highly respected guy on the PGA Tour. Freddie Couples says, "I'm done with Phil."
Okay. Well, I mean, that's another thing towards people on the LIV Tour. It's like, well, now you don't have your PGA buddies talking to you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And another kind of a clown act. So Pat Perez, Dustin Johnson, Taylor Gooch, and Patrick Reed won the team event. And Taylor Gooch, fairly young guy on tour. I think it's his third season with status on the PGA Tour. Obviously not anymore because he's moved to the LIV. So they're celebrating this win over on the LIV Tour. There's probably, I don't know, 100 people around. Greg Norman's pouring beers into people's... It's just an absolute circus act. Anyway, Taylor Gooch comes out and says, "Listen, I've never played in a Ryder Cup or President's Cup, but I can't imagine it's anything more than what with this we just experienced." That right there is maybe the most ignorant comment I've ever made. One, Taylor Gooch, there's one reason why you haven't played in a President's Cup and a Ryder Cup. It's because you're not good enough. You're not even close to good enough. You wouldn't even have a chance of sniffing a team ever. So to say that is kind of like it's like saying a guy in the AHL wins the Calder Cup. It's like, I don't know what it's like to win a Stanley Cup, but it can't be much better than this. It's like, well, yeah, you're not even close to getting to the Stanley Cup.
Plus, they can say the crowd was electric all they want. Like, it's no Ryder Cup.
No,
like that place is a zoo.
Yeah, the Ryder Cup,
an absolute zoo.
It's so disappointing to watch. It's hilarious because people are going to make fun of Taylor Gooch and all that, and obviously it sucks this week because the John Deere Classic didn't have the strongest field to combat with the LIV Tour. But I really have no interest. Like, the field is compelling. The people who make up the field is compelling. But just the format, the 3-day shotgun start with teams, I have zero interest in it, man. And I feel as if people are going to find out pretty quickly that this isn't going to work.
Yeah, I know. The teams thing, it just looks like cheap, and I don't know. I don't love it. It's weird. Yep. I believe the teams change every week, too.
Yeah, there's a draft every week.
Yeah, which is like... I don't know. That's kind of weird too, because like I feel like if you had the team, like a set team, at least you can kind of back a squad, you know?
Yep.
But now it's just like, oh, which team am I cheering for this week? You can't really get attached to a squad. It's just weird. The team thing's strange. Don't love it.
No. But no, it's certainly an ongoing battlefield in the golf scene right now, and we'll continue to monitor that. Moving into Wimbledon, I don't have much to report. It's the biggest headlines coming out of the Wimbledon right now are Nadal and Djokovic. Obviously, two heavy favorites on the men's side are still moving and grooving. All Canadians have been eliminated, and Swiatek, she put on an absolute clinic. She was on a huge streak, is now done. She was beat out in the third round. Layla is not playing due to injury, so we'll continue to follow the Wimbledon as it gets into the later rounds. But I'm missing Roger Federer on a Wimbledon like this.
Oh, for sure. Just to circle back on Swiatek too. What was it? 38 in a row.
Yep.
38 in a row. Man.
Yep.
What a run.
Major champion matches won.
You got to give a clap for that. That is just an impressive feat as it is. 38 wins in a row.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah. Federer would be nice out there. But, you know, here we are.
I may be wrong by saying this, but when I kind of monitor the tennis world right now, I feel as if it's hungry for its next phenom.
Yeah.
And it's next Djokovic, it's next Nadal, it's next Federer. Maybe they're playing and maybe they'll come out of the woodwork. But, you know, us Canadian tennis fans were hopeful that it could have been Felix, could have been Dennis. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So I think tennis is hungry for its next star. So we'll continue to monitor the tennis world. And that's going to conclude quarter one, Nate.
Yeah.
A lot going on there, a lot of moving parts, but we're going to move into quarter two, and it's NHL talk. The NHL and NBA, obviously their offseasons have just started, and the news has been flowing in. It's the coach carousel continuing. The Jets hired Rick Bowness, who stepped down in Dallas. Obviously, fellow Maritimer were happy for Rick Bowness going to coach the Winnipeg Jets, and the Bruins have hired Jim Montgomery, who was on the bench. He was an assistant coach with Berube in 2019 when the Blues won, and then he was the head coach of the Dallas Stars before Rick Bowness took over. So Jim Montgomery's the new bench boss in Boston. The Jets hire Rick Bowness, and the Detroit Red Wings hired I forget his name, and it's not in my notes here, and I do apologize for all the listeners.
The Red Wings?
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not familiar with them.
Neither am I, but I know they're excited about it. I know some reporters were tweeting that it was a great signing by Steve Yzerman, which I wouldn't put it past him. He seems to be an unbelievable GM.
Yeah. Derek Lalonde.
Derek Lalonde. That's right. Yeah. Yep. So congrats to those three teams finding their new bench bosses. But it was a plethora of signings and a plethora of news outside of the coaching in the NHL. Nick Paul, who was traded at the deadline from Ottawa, they were hundreds of thousands of dollars off a long-term deal. He now signs a long-term deal, 7 years at $3 million in Tampa Bay. Congrats to Nick Paul for that one, Nate.
That's awesome. That's a good one. That's a good deal for Tampa too. $3 million.
Huge.
Like when he's bringing it, he had a hell of a playoff, man.
Yep, he did, man, with all the injuries going on.
Game 7 against the Leafs, he had both goals, no?
Yep, he did. Ridiculous. He played well and kind of rejuvenated, his game in Tampa Bay, which I'm sure, a lot of people would, having that room and that leadership and just that star power there. Brock Besser, who had, kind of a tough year and off year, he signs a 3-year, 6.65 AAV deal in Vancouver. I think pretty good deal, man. I like Brock Besser's game. He had a lot of things going on outside of the arena this year with family members and sickness. So I think Brock Besser's a good year, and I think that's a very fair deal for a guy like that.
For sure, I agree with you. Dave, have him at his peak at $6 million. It's a good looking contract. Friend of the show, Scott Wedgwood, 2-year extension in Dallas. How we doing?
That's right. Scotty Wedgwood.
Get her going.
Yeah, so he'll back up more than likely Ottinger for the foreseeable future. I don't think it'll be a tandem outlook, but I think Scott Wedgwood, he'll get his 25 games.
For sure.
Lightning are looking to trade Ryan McDonough. Kind of coming to the end of his career. He's a slow, big guy, block shots. I mean, he's a fantastic player. I mean, I would say he's got 2 more quality years left. But we'll see.
Cap hit's a killer.
It is for sure, man. So they're looking to shop.
We have to assume Johnny Gaudreau is out in Calgary.
Yeah, for sure. Point. They offered him a 9.5 AAV. He's looking for more. I would think that he should be getting more. Came 5th in scoring this year.
Yep.
It's interesting, man. It may not be the worst look for them to get rid of him because you've got Tkachuk the year after coming up, and I think that Matt Tkachuk's maybe a more valuable guy in your lineup than Johnny Gaudreau, but obviously it's going to be a huge loss for Calgary, and now you kind of look at suitors for Johnny Gaudreau, and I think the one that stands out is going into his home state with
Boston.
With I think is he from Massachusetts?
I thought so.
I thought he was a Long Island guy.
He played college there.
Yeah, I thought he was a Long Island guy. So in New Jersey, which obviously isn't Long Island, but close by. Right. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with Johnny Gaudreau, and you'll continue to monitor that. And a surprising one here: the Buffalo Sabres have signed, re-signed Craig Anderson, which I thought this guy's career was done, but they're going to keep him around.
That guy's going to be in the net in 50 years, just a skeleton, man.
For sure,
a bag of bones stopping pucks. He never let it go. What is he? 42 now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
crazy.
Yep,
crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. I mean, I don't know who else do they have in net there. I'm trying to think. They had Aaron Dell, but obviously he's gone. Is Tokarski there? I think Tokarski might be there.
They just re-signed Tokarski, I believe.
So they got Tokarski and Craig.
What's the move Anderson, there?
So they need something in net there.
They need something. Holy smokes.
And that's going to be interesting come July 7th with free agency just around the corner. There's going to be some goalies changing places because there's a lot of need in the goaltender position, and there's not a lot out there.
No.
So we'll see what happens there.
Isn't. It's so hard to acquire a goalie, though. You pretty much got to draft them or get exceptionally lucky.
Yes.
It's hard to just
For sure. Well, Maple Leafs fans, I mean, they're like 40 years without even drafting a goalie that's been, a real hero. So, but Nate, we got the draft in just over 2 weeks, July 13th, Wednesday, July 13th. Is it on a Wednesday? Anyway, I'm not sure if that date's correct, but
it's usually on a weekend. It's usually a Friday night.
Okay.
But it could be different now. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's the July 13th, a Wednesday. So that might be wrong, but,
that would be.
Yeah.
That would be Wednesday.
Yeah. So it's July 13th. And then Shane Wright, Nate, is him and Juraj Slavkovsky, Slovakian. Those are the two guys going head to head. You usually have two or three guys that are like, who are they going to take? And we talked about it last episode. It looks like Montreal might take Slavkovsky, but I mean, I don't think it would surprise anyone either if they took Shane Wright.
I know it's tough. I really think this is the most up in the air, first overall I've seen in a while. And I'm sure some people are probably listening and be like, oh, it's Shane Wright for sure. But I mean, what is it? Bob McKenzie's, when he was talking to scouts, he said 5 of them had Slavkovsky, 5 of them had Shane Wright. And he said he could talk to 10 other scouts. It could be all Wright or all Slavkovsky.
Yeah.
But I mean, that Slavkovsky guy is nasty. And I don't know. Shane Wright, he hasn't really done it for me. I don't know what it is, but I mean...
Yeah, Shane Wright's been a little unlucky. I mean, obviously he was such a dominant player in Kingston at 15 with the exceptional status, and then with COVID, I mean, everyone in the CHL really had a tough go with COVID. He's been a great player and a lot of pressure on him for a long time. I mean, he had a decent CHL prospects games. I remember watching that. He's ripped one home right off the get-go. But I think you're getting 2 great players. I think Slavkovsky's more game ready, draft ready. But I mean, obviously too, there's a lot of hype and a lot of hope around Shane Wright. So I don't think you can go wrong. But it's going to be interesting to see a few other guys that to keep in mind on draft night. Logan Cooley, centerman from the U.S. development team. A lot of praise around this guy. You got Matthew Savoie, played for the Winnipeg Ice in the WHL, centerman, and he looks good as well. And then there's a defenseman ranked 5th, Simon Namak, another Slovakian big guy. So we'll see what happens there, man. It's crazy to see 2 Slovakians in the top 5 of the draft rankings.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, this if Slavkovsky ends up going 1, I have to guarantee that's the first Slovak ever taken first overall.
For sure.
The only one that really stood out was like Marian Hossa, but I don't believe he was a first overall pick. Yeah. He was like way back in the day, but I really don't think he was. So I think he would create history. I feel like New Jersey's almost in a better spot than Montreal because they don't have to make the selection.
Yep.
They kind of just let the guy fall.
For sure.
And it's like, we'll take him, whatever. So we'll see what happens.
Definitely. Well, that's going to conclude NHL Talk for episode 51, season 2 of the Dan Bishop Podcast. We're moving to the halftime show, and it's guests our nationality, and this is going to be a bloodbath.
This is going to be, as the kids are saying these days, a shit show.
Yes.
You want to start or me?
I got you. Dylan Fratelli.
I know this. Oh no, is he from South Africa?
Yes, he is.
Okay, I was really thinking it was Italy or something. Give me Israel Adesanya, Greg.
He's from New Zealand.
Nigeria.
So he lives and trains in New Zealand.
Yeah, those are the ones that get tough.
Wow. Gosh.
That's almost more impressive that you knew that, really.
Yeah.
So.
I follow the UFC kind of
but
fight week, and they used to, anyway. Arabon Lahiri.
Say it again.
Anabarn Lahiri, PGA Tour.
Lahiri. I've never Lahiri'd of them. I'm gonna go with what am I thinking? Singapore.
India.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Lars
Eller. This is tricky. Lars Eller. I'm going Czech.
He's Denmark.
Yeah. That's
him
tough.
and Freddie Anderson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Need Graham Gano, kicker for the Carolina Panthers.
Graham Gano. I would normally just assume USA, and then my second default guess, if I wasn't going with that, would be the UK.
Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was close. Mika Zibanejad.
Swedish.
Yes.
Eric Chernak.
Eric Chernak is Czech.
Slovakia.
Damn it. Half points for the country splitting?
I don't think we can allow it.
No, I don't think we can. Dominic Simone.
Is he Canadian?
He's German.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I know. Weird one, eh?
Alexander Volkanovsky. I called him Andrew during the show. It's Alexander Volkanovsky. It's the great Alexander the Great.
You're Russian.
Australian.
Never would have got that in a million years. That wouldn't even be my top 5 guess. Pascal Siakam.
Oh, gosh. Is it Ghana?
Cameroon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Santiago Espinal.
Gonna go Spain.
Dominican.
Okay. Well, damn. Nikolai Vucevic.
Oh, shoot. Is he France?
Switzerland.
Shoot. Giancarlo Stanton.
USA. Yeah.
Yep.
California.
Yeah.
You'd almost have to reckon he was on my list.
Was he?
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Dennis Schroeder.
Tennis.
Oh, he's a guard in the NBA.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna say USA.
German.
Okay.
Dennis Schroeder.
Not a lot of Germans in the NBA.
I know.
That's a good one. Obviously, I'm gonna lose out on Stanton here. Jordan Alvarez.
I gotta go with Cuba.
You are spot on.
Love it.
Good stuff.
Evan Fournier.
I'm gonna go with France.
Bang.
Yeah. That was lucky. Rafael Devers.
Is he Dominican? I know
he is.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah, nice.
Hao Tong Lee.
Japan.
China.
And lastly, Brandon Nakashima.
Japan.
USA.
No shot.
Yeah. Tennis.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
All right.
You know what's weird? Before we started doing that, I had this weird hunch that we were gonna have one of the same.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Well, Stanton's a good one because, like, you
Really
think
good.
you automatically think Dominican or Cuba or just, you know.
I thought it was Cuba, and then I saw it, and I had to actually go onto his Wikipedia to make sure it wasn't like some like he was born there and then like plays for Cuba. I was like, geez, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I know he played for USA Baseball.
It's a good one. Good thinking on both parts. Nate, we're going to move into quarter 3 here. NBA talk. And we're going to start by talking about Kevin Durant here and Kyrie Irving and everything going on with the Brooklyn Nets. I apologize. So, I mean, the Nets bring in a couple years ago Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and you're thinking, wow, this is going to be such a powerhouse. They then end up bringing in James Harden, and you're like, oh my goodness.
This is going to be an absolute wagon fest.
This is a wagon, and things have just fallen apart. Obviously, James Harden, after a few months there, said, listen, I'm out of here. I want to go to Philly. We're not going to talk about the bargaining power that the players have in the NBA. It's absolutely crazy. But Ben Simmons is now there, and Kevin Durant has requested a trade. Kyrie Irving is most likely going to be traded. I was reading reports this morning that the Lakers are working on a deal to get Russell Westbrook to Brooklyn for Kyrie Irving, but it's going to be interesting to see because I do believe that both Kyrie and Kevin Durant will be leaving the Brooklyn Nets in weeks to come, which is just it's such good theater. You can love it or hate it, but it is so compelling. It grabs your attention. And you're like, what's going on here?
It's every offseason too.
Yep, exactly.
You know, it is just constant. It's like this guy's out, and it's just the flick of a switch, man.
Oh,
one little thing happens, and this guy's like, I'm done.
Yeah,
and they get traded to exactly where they want
for sure.
Most of the time, it is incredible.
Yeah,
it is incredible.
So let's talk about the Kevin Durant suitors a little bit. There's been a lot of Raptors talk and what Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster would have to do to bring in a guy like Kevin Durant. And obviously the package you're looking at is going to be substantial.
Well, for sure. When you look at what the Timberwolves gave up to get Rudy.
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh,
4
exactly.
first-round picks, a bunch of, it's going to be theoretically at least the same, if not more, for KD.
Oh, we're talking more for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you got to look at yourself, I think, if you're Toronto and be like, is this worth the risk?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be another Kawhi situation?
Yeah, exactly. I think what you'd have to do is you'd have to sit down. You got to bring in Drake. I think you have to bring in Drake to talk to KD, and obviously Masai's got to be talking. And if you're going to make this deal, you've got to be certain that this guy's going to be willing to spend the rest of his contract in Toronto.
Yeah, you can't have like this 1 year and then just him demanding a trade again, and then you're right back where you were. And
then you got to be careful with the package that you send along to Brooklyn because obviously you bring in Durant, then it's automatically you've got championship hopes for the next 4 years, but you've got to make sure that you've got the surrounding cast to do that. So I think automatically the number one piece you're losing is Scotty Barnes. This guy had a tremendous year at 4th overall last year. He's looked really good. His ceiling looks great. Obviously, he hasn't grown into what he's going to be, and there's still some unknowns there, but I think Scotty Barnes is number one. Then you're looking at probably OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, or Fred VanVleet, one of those two.
Yeah.
So then,
4 first-rounders?
I would think, something along those lines with draft picks as well. So you're looking at that package that Toronto would have to give away. So you're losing 2 guys, but you're obviously bringing in, maybe the most prolific scorer in the NBA right now, in Kevin Durant. But like I said, you have to have a supporting cast. So there's a lot of things to weigh. There's a lot of pro and cons.
Do they have that supporting cast once you bring them in?
Exactly. But what else could you bring in with Kevin Durant in Toronto?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a very good point.
Yeah. So it's,
I mean, you'd be going all in all of a sudden. 100%.
And yeah, exactly. And it would be fun to see a guy like Masai Ujiri, who's been so great at the helm of Toronto, to see what he could bring in and do. I think that chatter won't go away. Another team is the Phoenix Suns, but like Nate said, I think last episode was DeAndre Ayton can't be involved in the trade because since they traded Ben Simmons since the Brooklyn Nets acquired Ben Simmons, who was on his rookie deal or a rookie extension deal, you can't trade for 2 of those players that are eligible under that type of contract deal.
Okay.
So DeAndre Ayton couldn't be in that deal. So does Phoenix have enough on their roster? Because you don't want to lose Chris Paul, you don't want to lose Devin Booker. Do they have enough on their roster to acquire a guy like Kevin Durant? You look at Miami. I'm not sure if Miami it's a similar case with Bam Adebayo, can't be involved in the deal because of that situation with Ben Simmons. So do they have enough to put together a package? So it's going to be really interesting.
What would you do if they say they flipped like Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler and 19 firsts?
Yeah.
Obviously it wouldn't be that extreme, but also is that something that Brooklyn's after?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll see. And it is fair to say that I don't know if Brooklyn's going to be that bad.
No.
You still got Joe Harris, who's a tremendous shooter. You got Seth Curry. Okay, he's a depth piece. You got Ben Simmons. So I know he took a lot of heat, but this guy can play.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the fleet of people that you're going to get for Kyrie and Kevin Durant, you're probably going to have a solid looking roster.
Yeah, it's pretty much automatic.
Yeah.
That is the exciting thing. Like, we talk about it. It's like, if you love it or hate it for the trades and everything, the free agency. The NBA, man, it's crazy like that.
Yeah.
Like, you can just get good so quick.
For sure.
That's the flip of a switch, and then your team is just a wagon.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
Exactly.
It's awesome, but it's like, because you look at like in the NHL with like Buffalo, it's like this team has no hope for like 5 years.
Yep.
So it's so much more exciting for like an NBA franchise.
For sure.
To be like, oh, all of a sudden we got KD, let's rock.
Yep, for sure. I don't know what to think about having that in the NHL. I think it could be tough, but we'll see. And I wanted to mention too, Nate, as you mentioned, Rudy Gobert is heading to the Minnesota Timberwolves for a fleet of draft picks. Very interesting here. So Karl Anthony Towns signs a 4-year, $222 million extension.
Yep.
Who plays center.
Right.
So
yeah,
you bring in Rudy Gobert. So you're just going to go extra jumbo? Like you're going to have... So Karl Anthony Towns, don't get me wrong, is an awesome scorer. And to have both of those guys on the floor at once obviously is going to be a mismatch offensively.
For sure.
I don't know.
That's
I guess
a good point you bring up there.
It's it's an odd situation. You never really see a guy get a max contract as a center, and then you bring in another center
who's a stud.
Rebound machine.
Rudy, my guy.
Yeah.
I guess, what do? Do you put one of them out of... Do you move one of them? Like position? Like do you trade Karl Anthony Towns? You wouldn't think.
No shot.
Right?
No.
Like, you wouldn't think.
And you get this Anthony Edwards guy who's just so electric. The Timberwolves are going to be exciting to watch next year, man. They're a team that I pegged on having a better year this year, and they did. They're going to continue to grow. We'll see what happens there. I just thought it was kind of interesting. I know a guy like Scoopy, a guy like Cam Smith, who we talked to on Love and Law, and they would have more insight on kind of the narrative behind that, or the motive behind that.
For sure.
I did want to mention Malcolm Brogdon, former Rookie of the Year. He was on the Milwaukee Bucks. People do remember he's an absolute stud at the point guard position. He was then traded to the Indiana Pacers, where he continued playing well. He was now acquired by the Boston Celtics. So Boston Celtics fans extremely excited about the acquisition of Malcolm Brogdon. Now really bolsters that backcourt. Now you're looking at that lineup going, okay, maybe mix in a 5 here that's got some serviceability, and we're looking at a team.
Yeah, we're laughing after that point.
Yep.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens with KD.
Yep.
I'm excited to see it. I don't think it's going to be too long.
Yep.
Too long before that breaks. So we'll see what happens there.
Yep.
I'm pumped.
Darius Garland re-ups with the Cavaliers. I'm just going to fire through some deals that were done. Nate, 5 years, $193 million. Zach LaVine re-ups with the Chicago Bulls at 5 years, $215 million. John Wall heads to the Clippers on a 2-year, $13 million deal. Nikolai Nurkic, Josip Nurkic, I do apologize, the center for the Portland Trailblazers, returns on a 4-year, $70 million deal. The Raptors acquired Otto Porter Jr., signed Otto Porter Jr., I think, to a 2-year deal. As I mentioned before, Karl Anthony Towns signs a 4-year, $222 million deal. The Mavs signed JaVale McGee, who's been a bit of a suitcase at the center position. Dort, Canadian, re-signs in OKC. Bobby Portis signs a 4-year deal, I think it's worth $60 million with the Milwaukee Bucks. And Victor Oladipo, 1-year deal, $11 million with the Miami Heat. So there'll be free agents starting to pour out as we continue on in the NBA, but those are just some rapid fire signings for you.
Yeah, and just quickly too, my guy Bradley Beal back.
Yes.
5 years, 251. How you doing? What a paycheck that is.
He's
sticking. He's staying. I thought he was leaving.
And a guy who really just kind of plays without any pressure, and just secures the bag. Championship aspirations are nowhere as close to the Wizards right now. And he
remotely close. That team has been 7th and 10th for the last 10 years.
Yep, scores 30 to 50 points a night and just says, how are you?
Yep.
All right, Nate.
That's what he's doing.
That's going to conclude the NBA talk. We're going to start mixing in a little bit more NFL as the season and as the offseason training camps open up and as the season becomes closer. But we're going to finish things off in the MLB, which is a season that is currently ongoing in Q4 here. Nate, and the Jays, obviously, they're on that 5-game stretch right now with the Tampa Bay Rays. Very important series right now. They lost their doubleheader yesterday, but they more importantly won on Canada Day. Absolutely electric. Pounded the wheels off Tampa Bay.
Yes.
So I think they're tied 2-2 right now in the series. The rubber match will be today, yesterday for all those listeners, Sunday. So we'll see what happens with the Jays. But yeah, I mean, I was excited for them on Canada Day.
Yeah, that was sweet. The yesterday when they played the doubleheader.
Yep.
Man, I was thinking about how if you show up and you have a bad first game in that doubleheader, it's like, geez, we're probably screwed.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're going to completely reset. Like sometimes you're just not on.
For sure.
And then you got that doubleheader and it's like, well, we're screwed.
Yeah, if you're having a tough day, it's going to continue on.
Exactly.
So they got both. They got beat down in both games. But I do want to mention. So when we were live on the line this week, our betting, sports have quiet down in terms of Big Four and the betting scene. So Nate and I, we wanted to have all Canadian narratives on for July 1st, and we did give out the Jays -1.5. But then we poured in on Joey Votto. So Joey Votto, obviously being the best Canadian baseball player of all time, he let us down in a massive fashion.
He had nothing.
0 for 4. But I did want to mention, Nate, Josh Naylor, who was a guy I was eyeing all week. He hadn't been playing very much. He got the start against Garrett Cole, hits a dinger off of him.
Yeah. No, you mentioned him too. You're just like, I just don't know if he's going to be in the lineup. I was like, yeah, it's a tough one to gamble. And then we went Votto.
And we could have gone Naylor. So that's on us. And for all the Live on the Line fans and for Brandon, who produces the show, that was the predicament we were in.
Yeah, it's tough too because you're not getting that lineup card until right before the game for the most part. You can get maybe a Twitter leak or something, but how are we going to make bets the night before that are going to be coming on for that day beforehand and really not know if he's playing?
No,
they just void bets.
Yeah, exactly. So a little upsetting there. I did want to mention Nate Trevor Gausman, pitcher for the Red Sox, not the Patriots, for the Blue Jays, not the Red Sox or Patriots. Leaves the game after taking a line out of the shin. So I'm not sure how long Gausman's going to be out, but the Blue Jays pitching, I think they're going to address it pretty soon via trade because things are a little dicey.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we talked about it, though. We're like, you know what? Come trade deadline time. Maybe they got to go a little earlier, though.
Yep.
You still want to be in that wild card spot. I think they're going to be okay. But, I mean, I'm just looking at these standings right now, man. 14 games back in second place. The Yankees, dude, are... I say it every episode, but holy hell on wheels.
Yeah, absolute fire wagon.
Outrageous.
Absolute fire wagon. Moving out west of St. Louis, Nolan Arenado hits a cycle. It's the 5th cycle hit for this year in the MLB. I mean, I just can't get over how outrageous that is and how challenging of a feat that is to hit a cycle. And there's been 5 of them already. So it's a tip of the cap to all those guys, reeling in those cycles. It was his second of his career, Nolan Arenado, obviously former Rocky, now St. Louis Cardinal. So congrats to Nolan Arenado for hitting the cycle.
Yeah. Very awesome. He also had 2 home runs too, didn't he?
I'm not sure. Did he have 2 home runs?
I thought he had 2 home runs.
5 for 5?
I think.
Wow.
I'd have to double check on that, but I thought for sure he had a couple bombs.
Yeah, that's
a day.
Have a day.
That's a day.
Red Sox. Shout out to the Red Sox. Chris Sale, who has been shaky the last few years, a lot of injuries. He's coming back soon, so that's going to be a big addition because, at times he's a Cy Young winner. Yeah. I don't know if he can find that game again, but Chris Sale will certainly be a nice addition back into the Red Sox pen. We got Max Scherzer's making his return soon for the New York Mets. Cool story out of New York. He was rehabbing down with the prospects, and he took them all out. $8,000 dinner. Gave them all ear pods, said, thanks, boys, for taking me in and letting me pitch. So that's a cool thing. I think guys who are mega stars and do more rehab stints should take a note out of Max Scherzer's playbook there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a lot easier when you're absolutely filthy rich.
Yep. Yeah.
But that's an awesome thing for him to do. Scherzer's a beauty. For
sure. It's a nice gesture to all the prospects in the Mets system. Nate, I did want to mention while we conclude the MLB chat here is Juan Soto has now declined 2 deals from the Washington Nationals. Is this guy just looking for the paycheck, or is he looking to get outside of Washington?
I'm not sure. I mean, what was the deal he declined? I believe it was 13 years, $350 million.
Yeah.
Declined. And it's like, you'd have to think maybe once I was listening to an interview actually with him yesterday, and he was talking about how he's like, yeah, it'd be cool to test free agency. He's like, but I don't know if I want to do that. And I like it here, but I also kind of want to try it. It seems like he's really on the fence. And he would, it's not like he's having a crazy year either, but he's just going to auto get the bag if he goes to free agency. So it's like, I don't know, it's maybe worth taking a look at for him. I mean, Washington, they're not exactly a fire wagon.
No.
So,
no. And Bryce Harper, too, he's out long-term, 6 to 8 weeks, I do believe, with a thumb injury. I forget what the injury is there for Bryce, but, and he's not a National, he's a Philly, so I'm not sure why I brought up Bryce there. But anyway, Nate, that's going to conclude quarter 4 MLB talk. We'll move into a little fire wagon, dog water of the week. My fire wagon this week is a guy by the name of Nathan MacKinnon.
Okay.
And I know he probably should have been my dog water or my fire wagon last week, but I didn't give it to him. I know 2 weeks ago we gave out the Colorado Avalanche the fire wagon, but he's partying with the Cup, man. He's celebrating with Sid. He's getting all the women he wants. Nathan MacKinnon, Nova Scotian boy. I had to give him a fire wagon, so I'm going to give him the fire wagon of the month.
Okay, I like it. I'll go fire wagon of the month also.
Okay.
I'm going with the Yankees.
Yep.
I know I brought it up a million times, but I just want to get these stat lines out here. We're 58-21.
Yep.
We have
Outrageous.
a run differential. Take a stab at the run differential.
I think it's like plus 120.
Plus 164. Plus 164.
Absolutely outrageous.
58-21.
Yep.
It's maybe the biggest fire wagon ever.
It's
so far. They're not going to win though. Do you think?
They'll find a way to lose.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's when's their last World Series? 09, I believe.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
They'll find a way to lose. But my dog water of the week's Taylor Gooch. Those comments about the Ryder Cup and Predators Cup were the biggest clown comments I've ever heard. I did like Taylor Gooch before he left the Live Tour, but dude, you're an absolute clown for saying that. You're delusional, and you're my dog water of the month.
I'm gonna go with just dog water of the week, and it's just Patrick Reed. Haven't got a real lot. I was just watching him play the other day, like watching some highlights of him, and I was like, man, this guy's a tool.
Yeah.
That's really about all it is. Other notable fire wagons, I believe it was Curtis McDermott for the Avalanche. He fell on his back and the cup landed on his face in a bar.
Yes.
I believe that was him anyway. If not, all due respect.
Yeah, he had above his head and the weight of the cup just sent him.
Yeah, he just fell down.
Yeah.
And those guys are going pretty hard.
They are, man. Celebrating. So listen, guys, make sure you go follow us on all of our socials, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you give this a 5-star and a comment. We appreciate you guys listening.
We will see you on Friday.